The not very convenient or obvious thing about handling errors in cloud flows is that it all relies on the so-called run after settings that are actually applied on the following action in your flow rather than the action that you want to handle. And that's not necessarily an issue, but something I don't really like about it. It's not very convenient, not very obvious to understand. And it also means that we need extra actions to handle each exception that we actually want to handle, as well as create parallel branches or try catch finally structures to be able to actually continue the flow in one way or another after an exception has actually happened. Now, once we actually figure that out, there are essentially three ways in which we could handle errors. The first one is what we all do initially when we start, is no error handling, essentially meaning that our flows will fail on the first error. Obviously not recommended. We don't want that. Don't do that. A slightly better approach is the so-called action level error handling, where we actually handle each individual action separately. So we build rules for every action in the flow. This means that at least errors will actually be handled. So it's better than having no error handling. But since, as mentioned previously, we need to add extra action for each error we handle, this can easily turn even the simplest flows into large and overly complex and difficult to understand constructs that we don't really want. So the recommended approach is using scopes to group actions and then applying the error rules to the entire scope. This makes flows easier, cleaner, much simpler to implement.